Monday I gave you basically a setup structure that should get you into a position where you'll be able to deliver the putter on a straight back, straight through path with a square club face. Okay, so I'd be interested to know how you've got on with that. A really good setup drill. I think what you'll have found out is that your putters may be a little bit too long now. Normally getting into that position means that the 34 and 35 inch putters are probably a fraction too long, maybe 1-2 inches too long. Okay, so that setup was where we got the shaft and the forearm lined up, so it was forearms on plane, and also getting the shoulder girdle flat so that it encouraged a straight back, straight through putting stroke. Okay, it was very much getting the forearms and the shaft aligned, flat on the shoulder girdle, and that sets up the straight back, straight through putting stroke, which means that you're going to deliver the club face square. That is provided there's no independent manipulation of your hands. Okay, I've got a little sort of exercise that we can do just to give you the feeling that you would have for that putting stroke, and also to check whether you're actually capable of getting into those positions and making the movements that we need to make. So let's just do that. So what you need is a couple of canes, garden canes, or I've got a couple of alignment sticks. I'm going to put through my belt loops here, one of them, if I can get it through. There you go. Right, so what this is really about is getting you into that putting position and being able to move the shoulders independently of the bottom half. So the bottom half is really stable. Okay, so bottom half will be really stable, no movement there, and the ability to move the shoulders with no movement of the bottom half. What tends to happen is when people are putting, they tend to sway their hips from side to side, and that is obviously unstable and inconsistent. So if you're able to turn your shoulders in that putting stroke movement without moving your hips, moving your legs, then that's ideal. Okay, if you do happen to be moving your bottom half while you're making this putting stroke, a good drill would be just to cross your legs, get your balance, get into your putting position and make those strokes. By crossing your legs, you've locked off the hips. It's difficult for them to, it's much more difficult for them to move, and you'll certainly get feedback. You might even fall over. Okay, so that's one. The second one is to look at what your head's doing. You should be able to turn your shoulders with no movement of your head, because your head's going to be steady and your eyes looking down at the top of the ball. Okay, so can you do that? Quite often you'll see people moving their head as their shoulders move. Okay, so moving shoulders independent of their head, so a steady head. Okay, the third one is one that will really give you feedback on these hands and wrists not doing anything. So getting in your setup position, hands together, and just notice what it feels like rocking the shoulders back and forward in that putting stroke. But you can see there's clearly no independent movement of the hands. Okay, just notice what that feels like, and then you can take those feelings into your putting stroke. So shoulder girdle flat, arms down the shaft line, and straight back, straight through, with no breakdown of the hands. Okay, so now that you're able to deliver the putter face square, you should be able to start your ball down your target line. But what is your target line? Green reading is a really important skill if you're going to be a good putter. That's something that you can do when you're approaching the green. You can have a general look, see what the lie of the land is, and see what the general slopes and contours of the green are, and that will give you a clue as to what way the ball might curve when it's on the putting surface. Once you're on the green, you would then want to be looking at just a bit closer look at some of the slopes and some of the contours, and looking if you can predict what direction the ball is going to go. And you also want to work out whether you're putting uphill, downhill, as well as across hill. Uphill putts tend to be obviously slower, but they tend to turn more, they would break more. A downhill putt, as well as being quicker, it would break less. So a lot of that will come from your golf experience, but it's good to be able to be confident in reading the greens and identifying where you need to, where you need to hit the putt. And once you're good at reading greens and identifying the start line that you want, then with this setup position that you know you can deliver the putter face square to the target, it's going to make it much easier to start the ball on line, and you're going to start to hole more putts. Definitely hole more putts, and that's going to have a reflection onto your score. Okay, so we've got reading the greens, so that's looking at the slopes and the contours, looking at whether it's uphill or downhill putts. The speed of the putt is really important, because that will potentially change the line that you're hitting on. An aggressive putt that's maybe going to finish a couple of feet behind the hole will turn less than a dead weight putt that just falls into the hole. That's going to, because it's going slower, it's going to take the contours and take the slopes much more, and it'll turn more. So you end up with a sort of channel or a tolerance band that you can use for your putt, depending on whether you're putting aggressively to finish behind the hole if it missed, or if you're dead weight that the ball would just get to the hole and fall in. Okay, so there's two slightly different lines for that. And depending on what your philosophy is, then that would determine your start line, and then you need to aim at that start line. Green reading really important, and pace control equally important. A putt on line without the correct pace is going to leave you a tricky second putt. But a putt with good pace, good speed, which may be slightly on the wrong line, is still going to finish around the hole and should leave you with a very simple second putt. Okay, so one of the techniques that you may have seen on the television, you'll have seen some of the top players, Adam Scott in particular, Justin Rose, they use what appears to be a particularly sophisticated looking technique for reading greens. You'll have seen them holding their fingers up to try and find the start line. So how that's evolved through a lot of computer generated studies of the greens, and then a technique has been developed from that, and it's called AimPoint. Okay, the bit with when you're seeing the players holding their fingers up to get a start point, so what they're doing is they're taking it from the edge of the hole, and then at the other side picking a point on the green that would give them a start line. That is really the end of the process. The start of the process is where they would actually use their feet to read the green, and they calibrate things using their feet, quite often with their eyes closed and in balance. So you may have seen them straddling the line of the putt and getting a feel for where the pressure is on one foot or the other, and that would start to tell them what the slope is it a left to right break or a right to left break. So an example of that would be here. So in this one, I would be standing and saying, well, okay, there's definitely more pressure on my right foot, so the slope's this way, so the ball's going to curve left to right. And this is, we'll say this a 1. Then we go to the other side, much more aggressive slope, so I'm feeling an awful lot more pressure this would be a right to left putt if I was putting towards the camera, and I can then calibrate that. That would then identify how many fingers I'm going to use to find the start line. So that's a technique that a little bit more sophisticated. If we want to do more on that, I'd certainly do that once we're back on the golf course and be able to demonstrate it a lot more fully. However, there are some things that you can learn. If you're not sure whether it's a right to left putt or a left to right putt, try it. Sometimes just that subtle difference, you can feel a little bit more pressure on the left foot on the right foot. So even although you may not know how to calibrate the putt exactly, you will be able to rule out 50% of your misses. If you're never sure if it's right to left or left to right, at least you could go and use this method and say, yeah, I feel more pressure on my right foot. Okay, that's a left to right putt. Okay, so I'm going to aim left of the hole. And through practice, you could start to say, well, boy, that's a bit more pressure, it's a bit more aggressive left to right, or vice versa. So even without knowing the full calibration requirements from the technique, you could still use that AimPoint methodology to your advantage. Okay, so reading the green is really important. Being able to deliver the putter face square and to start the ball on line is obviously critical. But use your experience, use your intuition to a certain extent. What you want to do is really look at the putt, create the putt for yourself. So you'd be looking at how it's going to break, what speed you need to hit it, and visualise that. Feel the stroke, feel the putt, and then you know how to set up to it, deliver the ball, the putter square, and just let it go. And just become aware of what the club face is doing and what part of the club face the ball's leaving from, where the club face is pointing, etc, etc. So this is a great time for you to do some of these little exercises and develop your putting stroke without any pressure. You know, it could be on the carpet, it could be on the floor. Just have a bit of fun and just see what goes on. Okay. So that's green reading, delivering the putter correctly. There's something else I'd like to introduce you to. I'm going to say, treat every putt as a straight putt. Okay, even if there's a big break, treat it as a straight putt. So what you would do is, once you've read the putt, find a spot adjacent to the hole. It could be just a mark on the green or whatever, and find that start line and commit to hitting a putt to that spot. If you've read the green correctly, read the break correctly, and you've judged the speed, that putt should start on that straight line, but eventually it'll take the borrow and it'll finish near the hole. Always expect the last little bit of the putt to take more borrow. When the ball's moving quicker at the start of the stroke, start of its journey, it's moving quicker, so it'll take less break, less borrow. When it's slowing down, gravity and the slope and everything will take effect, and that's when you'll see putts turning a bit more towards the end of their journey. Okay, there's another theory, particularly for longer putts, that you maybe have heard, and that would be the dustbin lid theory. That's the one where you put an imaginary dustbin round the hole, and your longer putts should finish within the dustbin lid. And if you do that, you're going to be left with an 18-inch 2-foot putt. So that's a strategy to avoid 3-putting. But what happens if you miss the dustbin lid? If you miss the dustbin lid, you're going to be 3 foot, 4 foot, maybe 5 foot away from the hole, leaving a tricky second putt and a potential 3-putt. I would suggest a better strategy is to aim small, and if you do miss, you've missed small. So as a little exercise, when you are practicing your putting, you can start with short putts to begin with and then work away from the hole. Put a tee in the back of the hole or immediately behind the hole and aim at that. If you hit that, you're going to be bang dead centre of the hole. If you miss that, there's still a chance that you're going to hole it. But if you miss that with the correct pace, even if you miss that spot by the dustbin lid, you're still going to be left at tapping. So I would say, pardon the pun, bin the dustbin lid theory and start taking pin prick aim at the part of the hole that you want the ball to go in, and work on that strategy. Pick the smallest thing that you can see and aim small, miss small. On Friday, I'm going to introduce you to a number of drills that you can work on for your putting, and you can do that at home. Okay, so we've got your putting stroke, we've done green reading, we've introduced a couple of drills there for you, so I think that's quite a lot for you to work on. And on Friday we'll give you some more little exercises and concepts that will help your putting. Okay, take care, see you soon.